Hello everybody, and welcome to Stoppage Time. I will be Reina, and I will be joined by Radorf today in the hosting. Welcome, Radorf.
Welcome, welcome, Reina. It's nice to be with you here.
So in this episode, well, the last time I actually did something like that was with Said, and actually about the last cup season. I think that was right after the group stage ended. So this time we're doing it a bit earlier, but I'm trying to make it into a more common thing, weekly if possible. If not, then just monthly, and we're gonna go over the group stage once it ends. But right now we're gonna talk about the first round of the group stage, what really happened, uh, with the new teams, new transfers, whatever. And we will also like dissect every game, show you some clips about them, and analyze the plays a little bit, and also choose the best players of every match that happened. So rather, do you want to start up with the talking about the first game, maybe?
Yes, as the first game, we're going to talk about Special Forces against Final Fantasy. I did want to see this game very much because we played a lot against Special Forces. They are a very solid team with a very clear idea of how they want to play, and I know that Final Fantasy is not very was not being active lately, so I thought it was gonna be a really interesting match, and I think everybody enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, definitely. I've been a 6-4 scoreline as well for like the start of the season. Is pretty great, and yeah, I mean every time I would call them rogue because Final Fantasy is pretty much rogue, but rogue and special forces. There was like an argument in the cup Discord, like whether there's a derby or not, because Glazy called it a derby in the TPM Gazette, but I kind of agree it is because last cup they faced off, several times. They also faced off in the league now. The league was a bit more one-sided. Special Forces didn't do well during the league season, but now they are back very well. They don't have a lot of new signings, mostly just Saeed added on to defense, who has been doing very well actually. He gave a very nice assist to Husky, and overall, I think Special Forces have got their engine working right now, and we can show you some recordings about from the game as well.
Yes, special forces do have a really clear plan. They play 2-1-2 in their field, and they switch to 2-2-1, right?
Yeah,
Ibrahimovic likes to be like kind of a half middle fielder and then goes up to attack. And then they do have Pasquet and Skew that making the field wide and looking for shooting opportunities.
yeah. Now I'm gonna show the clip of pretty much Final Fantasy early in the game building up. First goals came very fast, pretty much, LM10 against Passkate fighting throughout the game because they were the ones to carry. But you can see how well Special Forces actually get their team back into the box and just don't give any space once that play is congested into that final third. Even with passing around, Final Fantasy can't really unlock it. And I think it's like really not standard because of the scoreline. Usually, when we saw Special Forces meet Rogue Family, it usually ended like 1-1, 1-2, and very, very minimal score lines. But now it was like a bit different.
Yes, Final Fantasy was kind of pushing right during all the game, but Special Forces was holding their own. They make use of their opportunities with Passkit hitting everything he touched. I don't know if he scored every shoot he made.
Um, I, I think it. No, I think he. I think one was pushed away by the goalkeeper. I'm not very sure, but I think one was something like this. Ibrahimovic did miss two opportunities, which maybe could have been goals, but then again, they also came from difficult directions. So, uh, overall, it's a great game for Special Forces to build on. Like you said, might be that Final Fantasy weren't in their best lineup. I mean, Carol lost pretty much competitive debut for Final Fantasy, but uh, yeah, I think overall great game from Special Forces and can't really blame them for anything there.
No, Carolus did have this, this kind of dirty job or just being the
Yeah,
last man all the time. So he couldn't be really involved in the offensive plays.
yeah,
He was just trying to hold the basket and Ronaldinho runs.
yeah. That definitely is it. I mean, if you look at the squad as well from Final Fantasy later on, they did make the substitution and getting Hans Krankel in to maybe bolster that defense. And Hans himself had a very hard time against Paskid actually, and Melody as well when he dropped back to defense. So yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy, every player is capable of defending, but they rather just play that fluid game on midfield, and having that anchor is very necessary. And usually these Hans Krankel, when he didn't play, it was Kerolos. And I think I wanted to get that clip of very nice pass kid goal that he scored against Melody. An excellent pass through from Saeed, just an incredible pass, and then he pass kid charges forward, tricks Melody out, steps back, and what a nice and accurate goal that was.
Yes, I love those kind of fadeaway shoots when you are running backwards and are not easy. Are not easy to enter at all because your screen is kind of moving, but he does it. It's amazing. It's an amazing goal. It's it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is really really nice. So yeah, a lot. It was actually a back and forth game. I mean, first half won by Final Fantasy 4-1, and then Special Forces technically won the second half, but yeah, that's where it stopped. Ellen was the one obviously to have a massive impact. He scored with two headers, I believe, and also escaped from the defense on some one-on-one situations, and eventually got 5 goals, which is great. His first game reuniting with Riku as well. Last time he played with Riku together in a team competitively, it was the new factor, I think. So definitely something nice to remember.
Yes, Alem does have this thing, right? That he's a constant threat. So he drags so much attention of every player on your team that he creates a lot of space for the other players to play fast.
Yeah. I feel like he's also like one of these strikers, if you can call him a striker, can play in any position, in sometimes I've seen him like in team loans in him and says, okay, I can defend. And it's nice because selfless strikers, is something every team needs. And
Yes.
even if Elam, goes full out dribbling, he trusts his ability, and I think that's what gives him those goals.
Yes, you need people that score the goals. Like for instance, this game of Special Forces was great, but if Pasky doesn't score 4 goals, it would have looked like a one-sided game, or although it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah, definitely need that finish, sure. And LM10 was supposed to be our guest as well today. He hasn't been responding to me today, so maybe he can hop in later, if possible. But right now we're still waiting on him. We wanted to conduct a short interview with him, but right now I think we can move on and talk about like the conclusion of the game and what we can take away from this.
Well, my conclusion will be that Special Forces is a very how to say very complete team. They can do everything quite well. And Final Fantasy was not in the best shape, but I guess as the tournament goes on, they will improve and they will be kind of one of the favorites to win the tournament.
Yeah, definitely trying to get the trophy cabinets of the new team going as well. We were supposed to choose the best players then. Who do you think deserves to be the best player of that game?
Even though they didn't win, I would give the best player to Paskit because how efficient he was and how hard it is to be efficient when you are not attacking. You are all the time defending, defending, defending. You have one chance, and it's hard to score that chance. So I would give it to Paskit or LM just because he scored like 1,000 goals. So
Yeah. So I agree. It's pass heat definitely from Special Forces side, and if you want to look at the if you want to look at the statistical side, then it's gonna be LM10, and we'll see who will they be competing for the top scorer title as well. But we move on to the second game of Saturday, which was Endgame against Napoli, and that was obviously unbalanced.
yes, well, this was the only game that was one-sided.
Yeah,
We know how much of a powerhouse Endgame is. They are all top tier players. And Napoli, I don't know the players so much. I don't know if some of them are kind of new or I know they are not playing or they were not playing too much lately. And playing against such a strong team without having you know a very consistent squad is hard. It's hard for everyone.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mark is obviously the most experienced player in Napoli at the moment, other than Hamza. Hamza wasn't playing, it was a surprise to me, but I feel like with the squad available, they did what they could. Matt Valen has been playing for some time as well. He does have a good shot, but obviously that team play aspect of Napoli could obviously be improved. But yeah, they did well. Kozmin, for example, played for Napoli for the whole league season, I believe. So he's used to playing there with Mark. And even though he got a red card, I have the recording of that
Yes,
situation as
a
well.
very early red card. I
Yeah,
think it
very
was
very early
like
red
two
card. Yeah,
zero on the score,
yeah,
and he got sent off.
I have that recorded, so you can see that. Yeah, very early. It's a questionable red card. Now I'm gonna go back one. I mean, yeah, he's the last defender. I was gonna, I was a bit confused by JP there, but him being the end game player, it was an obvious red card. Well, what can you say? Took away a 3-on-1 attack, and what came off of it was actually in the game scoring only one goal during power play. I feel like Napoli kind of like reconstructed their play during Kozmin's red card, and they played like more safer passes, and the game became a bit better. Because Endgame had a very good opportunity, like right off the bat after that red card situation as well, but just didn't work out. You see, that was a very good long shot, and then it went on. I believe Ibanez crosses in here. Yeah, they did score there. Okay, my mistake. But yeah, that was the only goal that came during the red card's duration.
Normally, I don't like to get red carded. I think a goal can be worth, but in a tournament is tough because goals really change the pace of the game, and maybe you get the red card, you hold your own with four, and nothing happens, and you keep playing. I get it's a matter of taste.
Yeah. Who I'd like to obviously applaud as goalkeeper myself on Napoli's side was Kai, with his nickname Mondragon right now. I think his nick Kai is maybe in Galatasaray now, but basically Galatasaray and Napoli were fighting for him as well because both of them kind of wanted for themselves, but he in the end chose to play for Napoli. And it's a good place, obviously, Napoli. You get to do a lot of work as a goalkeeper, and he surely done so. I think he had 8 saves out of 18, which isn't very good, but still 8 saves in TPM is a big thing. And one of them was a very nice one. He actually managed to gather from from Endgame's counter attack, where I think Matt Valen was the one to dive with a header towards him, but or was it JP's header? But in the end, Mondragon did reach it and saved it. JP hit the post later on, but didn't get a goal to finish it off. Mark in the end pushes him off the ball. So yeah, basically, I think like you said before we started the stream, that Endgame was well frolicking around as well, and they took that game lightly. But even taking that game lightly, they still managed to mount the 10 goals.
Yes, well, the squad is, individually each player is a very strong player. So
Yeah,
even though they take it lightly, they were like very strong players playing against a team that is not still working out.
yeah, absolutely. I think Napoli obviously were forced to play on their own half for the majority of the game, but for a few breakaways, Matvey had some chances. I'm gonna show the first one of them, being quite a long shot, well, a very long shot actually. Yilmaz opens up him with a nice pass. Matveylin pretty much from the byline, and it would have gone under the crossbar, but Blue just came back onto the line on time to deny it, and well, it was a maybe like the logical choice because you can't really get to that final third of endgame, especially with a defense like Pio and Hoffs.
Yes, my stream is a bit delayed. That's why I'm still watching the
Yeah,
play. But yes, nothing else to add. I completely agree with what you said.
yeah. Then I think later on, I'm gonna try to find that goal, which was the first of Napoli's two. Where are they now? I think it was. Oof, I'm gonna have to check for a second. Yeah, it's Yilmaz's goal. I believe it's this one which I'm about to show. And I think this is where Napoli first time, abused kind of that overconfidence of Endgame as well. Too much space given to Burak Yilmaz. Matveylin has a great skill with playing these long passes, and did so playing the ball to Burak Yilmaz, who opened up on a one-on-one situation and lost the ball away against Blue, and at least gives something positive for Napoli. I think that single play was pretty nice, and even though Napoli's only option is to play with long balls, at least it worked.
Yes, well, against this team, at least you have to threat them because the endgame loves to play to pressure full field. So you need some people that threat them in the back, or otherwise they will just box you in, right? And it's
Yeah,
impossible to find a pass. So you need these kind of long passes, like connect one or two, and they might get a lead more defensive in the play.
yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure. Do I have a recording of that as well? Possibly even not. But yeah, the second goal from Napoli after many from Endgame, in which one I think Justin Bieber scored straight from not well, pretty much straight from kickoff. Uh, in the end, yeah, Yilmaz got the second because Blue just started delaying the Napoli players, and Yilmaz had none of it. Just turned back, and it was the last minute goal anyway. So the 10-2 scoreline was which sealed it pretty much. Well, nothing really important to Napoli anyways. The loss against Endgame was quite obvious. But who could we pick as the best player there? Even maybe like in the whole game, not just from Napoli's side.
It's yeah, it's a tough decision to make, like because I kind of think that every player in Endgame did more or less. the
Yeah,
same as they didn't need somebody to hard carry or to shine. So I don't know. I would say that the whole team just played,
yeah,
just was better.
absolutely.
Hard to me to pick just one
Yeah.
player.
Justin Bieber did score the most amount of goals in the first round then, with six, I believe it was. Well, still not very much, not single-handedly scoring all of the team's goals. But he did start off strong, and he couldn't really challenge for the league, or not the league, but I'm sorry, the first season of the Cup's top scorer award, because he left Snazzy in the middle of the season, I think, and then came in pretty late. But yeah, he's definitely in it this time if he continues playing actively. Which moves us on to the next game, first game of. Hoss is asking us how we talked about No Factory at No Factory. Barca Prime game will be the last we'll be talking about, obviously. Not only because it was the last of the first round, but obviously it contained a lot. It has a lot to unpack. But the first game of Sunday was Victoria SC against Not Be Crew, Not a Crew's second squad. And no, that game is something we both saw. I think a lot of people saw because it was streamed live by Said and Blue. Thank you, Said and Blue. And yeah, any early comments you have?
Yes, well, this was a very, very, very fought game, right? Both teams like fought their guts out in the field. Many,
Yeah,
many things has happened, although the score was like short to two, even to two. I think their score is completely fair. Like both teams played for their strengths. Um, Not a crew tried for went for a very team play with building up possession and try to create spaces with Matt leading the chart. And Victoria was counter-attacking with Ogis always creating problems to not a crew defense and being able to hit the goal twice.
yeah, absolutely. OG was definitely the key for which was definitely the key for Victoria, and they did do some substitutions as well mid-game. Not sure for better or for worse. I think they took Peter out, who did a good job defensive wise, and Alex Mitricha was brought on as more of a midfielder, and then the attacking trio that played until the end was Mitrita, Glazy, and Audrey. And I think that trio worked out a bit better than the starting one where Thai was playing on the wing. And Victoria seemed to have better chances on the second half. Even the Nobby crew, obviously, as well. I feel like the game opened up on the second half a little bit, even though both teams played very much for possession, a lot of passes coming in, and like you said, it was a quality game. Both teams really fought for it. Even though, in my opinion, Victoria didn't play with the strongest team because, well, no Nurmio was in the squad, no Rascal, so maybe something was missing. That some one wing of attack kinda wasn't that present, and that's why maybe so many passes were played through Audrey and the counter attacks happened. I think I have that clip of Audrey doing a very good job on the wing as well, being a bit unmarked, and then cuts inside and does a very nice shot. Here it is. So yeah,
Yes, Oji was launching all the counterattacks of Victoria, and they were very keen at taking advantage of not be crew small details in defense, right?
yeah,
I think both of their goals kind of come after some small mistake. For instance, the first goal, I think here This is not no. This is not the first goal, right? This is a similar action, but this is not the first goal.
I, I believe it was not. No, it was the first goal. It absolutely was. The OG one did open the
Okay.
scoreline. Yeah,
Yeah, I think now you can slide the ball out and it's no problem. But OG does a really nice move,
yeah,
dribbling in and hitting the perfect curve, being very pressed by Verba, but still hits it. So very, very nice goal by him.
yeah. Good first opportunity I think Victoria had was a bit later than that when uh Burba opened up actually in the middle and Shavin well could have maybe even blocked that shot if it would have been lower, but he took the try and it went over the bar. A bit later after that Audrey's goal though, another opportunity came for them in the hands of Casey, who scored a nice header goal. Casey, the winner of Nations Cup as well with British Isles, a very vital player for not a crew he has been. I think he plays very well both attacker and midfield wise, and overall he's a very versatile player. Has the
Yes, a
clip of
good,
him scoring.
a good overall player, right? He understands very well the spaces and when to defense and when to go on attack, and yeah, he's a very complete player.
Yeah. Uh, I believe that's the clip. I'm not sure. Yeah. Uh, a bit. The game was marred a bit by Matt's disconnection issues, but it didn't really have that big of an impact on Not Be Crew's performance. I think later on, substitution was made as well. Matt coming out, Edelwall coming in. No, I think it was Supper who was substituted outright. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Edelwall brought in as as the striker. And I believe like this lineup still worked, but nothing too much because in the end nothing much happened there. Mitrita did get one opportunity, but Matt pushed it away. Before that, I think we forgot to mention that great play from Supper and Matt who set up that 2-1 goal for Not Be Crew, uh, in which uh, pretty much Supper stole the ball from Ogi's bad pass, passed it back to Matt. Matt over the top with a very unorthodox pass because I personally would have passed from the side, but he did it very well. I believe I do have the clip for that as well. I'm not sure.
Yes, it's a very weird pass because it's a very high pass, but it like the pass falls right in Supper's head. It's easy to control because
Yeah,
if the pass goes just a bit wide or a bit long, I think you're right. The defender just can push it out. But
yeah.
it's a very very good pass.
And then Glazy's equalizer as well, which proved to be the last goal of the game, which came as well maybe from a bit of inefficient play from Not Be Crew, but Glazy used it perfectly, and he's definitely a very good piece in for Victoria, and here we can see that playing a normal game, pretty much Victoria did have they did have a short duration of a very high press attack, but we see Casey here losing the ball with a bit of a bad touch, I believe it is there. Well, first Alex Mitrita clears it, Duke to Casey, who plays away the bad touch. Don't Glazy steals the ball away. Playmaker passes it back to him on the wing, sends Duke away, cuts inside, an easy goal. And 2-2 it is. And like I said, I think it's fair that it ended with 2-2 because I think it would have hurt either of the teams more uh, if the loss would have been on the hands.
Yes, well, I think the result just showed how even the overall game was, right?
Yeah. Uh, but if you'd have to pick a best player of this game, I'd say it's Mats, and I think we can both agree on that because we're not the crew players as well.
Yes, OG is a nice contender too, but I think Matt not only gave the two assistants, but he kind of set the pace of the game. I
Yeah,
think like every player played, the pace Matt was was driving. So that's why I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on him to score while he's having a disconnection as well. Some players are waiting on it apparently. uh, so we are moving on to that final game, uh, which happened Sunday night. New Factory against Barca Prime, and that was probably the biggest surprise. The whole duration of the game was it was complete chaos because the way Barca defended, nobody expected that. Uh, Obviously, people expected a stomp coming in from New Factory, but it went the other way. And eventually, New Factory actually grabbed a tie. So we'll be covering all that.
Yes, this game I kind of expected like that Nuke Factory was have the upper hand. I expected them to be pushing and to be up in the score, but I got completely wrong. Barca Prime competed very, very well. They didn't play their style, this kind of tiki
Yeah,
taka they do within for the center. They just play very regular TPN, and it worked very well for them. They cross, they counter attack, but they didn't really go for their style. But it worked for them, so I think the change is for the good.
yeah, like you said, and a very big transfer that came in for Barca Prime right in time was Morazo. Actually, well, we've been the games community has been knowing him as Edward for quite some time now, so he never really took a break. But he's a great player, and in the defense of Barca Prime, he completely nullified Rostov for a while, and removed one key piece of New Factory strategy, that being these long crosses or high balls into the box onto Drostov, or Drostov extensions onto Levy, because Mirazu just cleared so many balls off the line. It was incredible.
Yes, he played kind of pseudo goalkeeper,
Yeah,
and it worked very well because every single header, Miratsu was there just sending the ball out,
yeah,
and really made that Noob Factory's type of attack didn't work. So I think I kind of saw them a bit nervous, like they were pushing and pushing and pushing, but no real clear chances came, and Barca Prime was very, very effective on the offensive end.
yeah. For a while actually, Barca even managed to grab a two-goal lead. I'm gonna show one of the clips from that as well. Overall, a very nice team play from Barca Prime, even though they didn't play as much like positionally and movement-wise as they normally do. I've been looking at Abra Augury as well, like the predecessor of Barca Prime, and the French players together, they have excellent movement. And I think I'm going to show that Irving best player combo that came up the pitch. It was magnificent to look at. So this is where it starts. They defended very well there. Irving finds best player with an incredible cross over the field. Best player sprints up, pretty much immediately can find Irving with the cross. Why did they cross? Obviously because Drostov was already marking best player, so best player had that space and time to see where to land that cross, because if Trostov is not challenging you in the box, it's much easier to score a header. Karagun is not being that aerially present defender either.
And actually, the cross is very good because the cross
Yeah,
gives all the advantage to Erwin, and it's nice because this play where Erwin sends the ball and finishes the play off. It's very similar to the one that we are going to see later, when Drodov scoring a very, very, very incredible volley from
yeah.
long distance.
I'm gonna show that as well now immediately. top it off. Yeah, so basically a normal new factory attack, a long ball played up the field by Rostov. Lampiku passes it back, and Rostov pretty much immediately doesn't even control the ball, just launches it and finds the bottom corner as well. A very nice job there from Rostov, and they did. Yep, it was the 84th minute already, so you know, Boston Prime was just inches close from winning it, and New Factory was absolutely bombarding them. It was crazy how many shots came in from there. I think actually most of them didn't even hit the target because either they were like blocked or went over. I believe Fati wasted a few shots as well. One hit the crossbar, and it was seeming like Barca already had it, you know. And then this game, which I'll be showing the clip of, and yeah, Barca sending maybe too many players up the field, two up the field, one on midfield. Even though they were already hanging by a thread on defense, and this is pretty much where it came in. What happened there was pretty much New Factory attacking, throwing in more crosses. Okay, a good clearance from Murazo once again. Best player plays the ball up the field. Look at all that space, you know. Then he manages to lose Karagunis, cuts inside there. A good job, obviously. It turns into a 2-on-1 situation. What happens is he cannot deliver the pass to Irwin, who was completely stranded there, completely alone. Best player couldn't do anything against Rostov. Kind of froze up in there and eventually makes a foul as well in the process because he already lost the ball. And it goes on, and this is what turns to become New Factory's equalizer. Levy, well, he could have scored from there already. The tackles takes him down, but the ball ends up on the feet of Lambicu, who scores an actual last minute equalizer. All of the Barca Prime's defenders there tackled Levy, completely forgot Lambicu. And I don't even know who to blame this on because I think it kind of happened on that counter attack from Barca Prime side. It should have been 5-3.
Yes, well, mechanically, best player kind of gets it wrong, right? Because he does this kind of small left button click, and he gets scared by Drogdov, so he stops. And since that moment, the play just get blurred, and everything goes wrong. I think if he just hold the ball without not more short touches, and look for an opportunity to pass to Erwin, he will find the pass or maybe find the goal.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like Barcelona left a bit of a bitter situation there. Aguero did say to TPM Gazette and comments after the game as well that they were just working very well together and it didn't really phase them that much because it's still a great achievement to get away with a point against New Factory. But if you're like 2 goals up, you should play to contain. You should keep that score up. It's obvious New Factory is gonna try, but make them waste these shots, make them attempt from long distance. But this went through a little bit too easily and right on the last minute as well. You could question that. Okay, it's like that 90th minute. Should the ref blow the whistle already when it's like near the midfield line? I can like scroll it back to that time and see. Well, it's still 80 now when best player is there. Drostov kicks the ball away, then Fadi takes it. It is 90 minutes, but it doesn't tick to like over 90 minutes. So technically, New Factory still get the attack and that's pretty much you can say Barca lost this
Yes, you can
game.
you
Yeah,
can you can play it really really scared. Just go to the corner line and wait there and
yeah,
win the game. I don't know. It's a tournament. You can do that. In a normal game, I wouldn't do it, but playing a tournament, I might as well just hide myself in the corner and wait for the overtime.
yeah. Uh, well, this sums up the first round. Who do you think is the best player from this game?
This game is very tough, but I have two defenders in each size. I would give it to Drozdov, and this volley goal is so trademark New Factory. Him sending the very long pass from his own field and finish the playoff without even controlling, bringing back hope to New Factory. I think I have to give it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Miraz is doing a good job denying Drosto, but still Drosto playing as a defender. Got a hat trick, that says a lot that he still can't be contained and he's the best at headers in TPM. And though you could say that New Factor's defense maybe because it was a bit crippled because they had to play Lampiku, who made a return to competitive TPM over a long time, and he was playing at defense. And later on, they did take out Polter and put Karagunis there, but it still really didn't work out. So maybe it's just the absence of Kira as well. If they would have had that player to block the ground passes, Barca Prime could have been maybe contained easier. But they took that game on, and like Aguero said, it's now gonna come down to goal differences in the group, because 1 point for both of them is pretty strong because they are seen as maybe the best clubs in this group. Obviously, not Big Crew and Victoria could still throw some spanners in the works, but it was a good point to take.
Well, yes, starting out with the loss is always tricky in this
Yeah,
kind of competition. So just uh, finishing off with holding hands and let's play the other teams, I guess it's a good result for
yeah.
both of them.
Now I'm gonna show the this week's fixtures basically. So we will kick off this week with Not a Crew and Final Fantasy. We haven't seen Not a Crew's main squad play. We both are part of the main squad, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are both.
Yeah, so I personally can't say that I can't be playing, that I will be cheering for another crew. Let's see what's gonna happen. For Final Fantasy, it's definitely very important to take that second win because well, endgame is otherwise most likely gonna cement that first place. As the second game of that group, Special Forces is meeting Napoli, looking to open their winning ways, because maybe losing points
Yes,
against
I
Napoli
think
wouldn't be
this.
ideal. Yeah.
I would put Special Forces as the favorite in this game.
Personally, I think what I'd like to say now. Yeah. Mark also contacted me about whether I can stream Special Forces in Napoli. I would very much like to. It's a nice game. I would like to stream both of Saturday's games, but I sadly can't because I'm at work. But Special Forces in Napoli obviously have history because of in the last cup, Napoli got kicked out of the quarterfinals through the hands of Special Forces, who played
Pre-
very, 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 very well. I was in the goal this time as well, and Polter was playing in Napoli back then as well. He also played in Napoli actually last league, in which Napoli beat Special Forces twice. But now Napoli doesn't have that type of a finisher, so maybe they will be finding a harder time.
yes, probably. But maybe they can kind of get things back up and organize themselves a bit better and be competitive again.
So I just read the message from LM10 saying he's not sure he can make it. He currently has personal problems, so it's all okay. We can do the interviews later on, maybe next week. And moving on to Group B, we will have Barca Prime meeting Galatasaray. Now, Galatasaray is a team I I am really looking forward to seeing because they have had a very good squad revamp. I'd say they have some experienced players, some new players who seem pretty good, and definitely stronger than Galatasaray in the first season of the cup.
Yes, Yes, it feels like within a few months they are going to be a decently strong squad. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I can see Blank Korkmaz, Sergio obviously, uh, Ronin here, who is I heard is also a former Netsuke player. Rapid in there as well, played for these strong Romanian sides previously. So there's definitely that strength capable of maybe stopping Barca Prime, but Barca, of course, as well, looking to grab everything they can from this group, while no factory will be meeting Not Be Crew, and definitely also a game which could go either way. Not Be Crew could be stealing points from No Factory if a similar squad is playing.
Yes, okay. Beforehand, I still think Noob Factory is the favorite to
Oh
win the
yeah,
game, but yeah, I also think that not be crew, if they are able to get their game going, they can make problems. They
yeah.
can put Noob Factory in some problems.
About the transfers as well, New Factory did lose Drizzy recently, but Darksea has joined them. He hasn't been registered yet for Cup, but I believe it will come soon as well. Just that extra bolster for their backline. As well, they don't have Sepsiak playing very often. Sepsiak was the key to Paul Seven's success in the league, which was uh very successful for them. But yeah, maybe I believe like New Factory on with their race squad is obviously title demanding. So is Endgame, so is Final Fantasy, but all these step down clubs all have the capability to mount a challenge.
Yes, for sure.
So I think that will most likely be it for now. And I really hope everybody will be seeing seeing the games live this week as well. Maybe a few will be streamed. I'm not sure. I personally can't, but maybe Syed and Blue can step in again, or maybe Ilwall himself, and we'll see a game on the official channel being streamed. So definitely tune in for that. We did have quite so many spectators recently. I think the Final Fantasy Special Forces game had about 17 spectators in the game, and obviously the Not Be Crew Victoria game had quite a bit more thanks to the live stream. So yeah, it's definitely a healthy time for the cup. I'm very happy to see it, and yeah, any final words, Radov?
Yes, well, I'm really enjoying the tournament. I hope you like our little analysis, and you can tell us if you would change something or add something to the show. And thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy it too.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Maybe we're gonna do this thing very soon once again. And yeah, bye bye everybody.
Bye bye.
Okay.